certainly have one of the most interesting backgrounds out of any of the guests that we've had on the show. So to start things off, would you mind sharing a little bit about who you are and how you got to where you are professionally?
Okay, sure. So yeah, you're right. I'm coming from a totally different background than what I do today. I started my career in computer science. So in Israel, we serve men and women in the army. So I grew up in the army in one of the elite software units, served in the Navy, and then worked in the software industry for several years. What I wanted to change, I joined a research center on risk management in capital markets. So I was the CEO of the center in one of the private university, the biggest private university here in Israel, of this institute for financial risks. And then when I wanted to change again, I looked for a challenge. And following discussions I had with my children, and kind of similar discussions that are kind of surrounding me around plastic packaging. What do we do with the plastic packages post-consumptions, with bottles, etc., etc. I thought to myself that there must be a different solution than what we do today in packing food. And I went out jogging, and I thought to myself, what would be the most intuitive way to pack food? Let's forget everything we have today. Let's say we're starting from scratch. What would we do? And the first thing that came to my mind was an apple. Because when I eat an apple and I throw the residuals to the waste bin, it just disintegrates and biodegrades by itself, because this is the nature of the material. So I said, okay, so this is the solution. This is what nature did. Nature also packs. Nature packs the bananas, the nuts, the oranges, etc., etc. And nature packs with compostable packaging. So why won't we do the same? And I thought it's very easy. Let's invent this new material that will be compostable and will pack food. It wasn't easy. It's not an easy journey, but that's what we did. We actually developed new technology that on one hand emulates organic materials like nature creation, and at the same time emulates conventional plastic with all the good properties that conventional plastic brings to the packaging industry. So we managed to emulate conventional plastic and emulate organic materials and create a new material that brings those two very important properties. So today we pack food and other goods the same way as conventional plastic does, with a different end of life. So for me, the main problem of the plastic industry is the end of life of the package. What happens to this piece of plastic that I'm using now? Is it going to stay here forever? And that's what happens today. Forever can be 100, 200, 1,000 of years. It doesn't really matter. That's forever. And we want those packages not to stay here forever, because that's the damage that we see. So the main problem that we had to tackle and that we were looking to tackle was the end of life of the package. We want the package to kind of vanish once we finished using it. And the compostable packaging solution enables that, because the package nature is to decompose and biodegrade in a very limited, specific period of time, which is up to 6 months. So post-consumption, we can discard the package into the organic waste stream, the same as we do with kitchen residuals like cucumbers, tomatoes, all other organic waste. The package will go into the organic waste with organic waste and go into compost system, either home compost or industrial compost, and will disintegrate and biodegrade and turn into a new material, which is fertilizer, within up to 6 months, as opposed to hundreds of years of conventional plastic. So this is maybe a long answer to a short question, but Yeah, so my background is different. The solution came from nature, not from being a scientist, but from understanding what is the right solution, probably. And gladly enough, I can say that 10 years after, we already sell our solutions in the market. The technology works, replaces conventional plastic very nicely, works perfectly. And this is what we do in TIPA.
So inspiring, and it's really neat to see when nature can inspire the innovation that we end up coming up with. So I love that. Admittedly, when I think of packaging, plastic packaging, I just think of plastic packaging, but there is a difference between hard and flexible plastic packaging. Could you explain that to the average listener as to what that difference is and why you might have different kinds of packaging?
Yes, so you're very right. We think as packaging is okay. We have packaging solution, but there's so many solutions in this industry. It's there's variety and even variety within each segment. So rigid packages are bottles, jars, all those rigid packages. Flexible packaging are all those soft packages. We can think about granola bars, potato chips, bags, all the snacks, fruits, bread, etc., etc. Usually, not in all the cases, but usually sometimes. Rigid packages are made from one raw material, and therefore the package can be recycled. Flexible packaging, in the majority of the cases, we need to implement few materials in one solution in order to achieve the desired properties, in order to provide shelf life and to protect the packed goods for in the supply chain and for a certain period of time. And therefore, there are few materials blended in one package. So flexible packages are usually thinner and flexible, and they're kind of a few materials implemented in one package, plus the package is contaminated. And therefore, flexible packaging can hardly be recycled. The recycling numbers today anyway are very poor, but in flexible packaging, it's like less than 4% or something like that. So around those numbers, in some places of the world, it's 0%. So we can say that there's no really viable end-of-life solution for flexible packaging. And that's why in TIPA we focus on flexible packaging. So we also use a few different types of materials in one package. But all the materials that we use are compostables, and therefore it all can be composted together at the compost system. So those are the main differences between rigid packaging and soft packaging, which are flexible packaging. And even within flexible packaging, for example, you can think about packing tomatoes or packing apples. It's different from packing granola bars. So we have variety and a nice variety, wide variety of different types of packages within the flexible packaging industry.
That is so interesting. I'll definitely look at my packaging more directly next time.
Yes.
When we're looking at this scale of waste from plastic packaging, what are we talking about globally, or especially if we talk about plastic packaging and perhaps looking at the flexible? It sounds like it's traditionally, at least, not recyclable. So do we have any idea as to what that scale is around the world?
Yeah, it's a huge scale. They're actually increasing. The numbers are above $100 billion annually of flexible packaging. The majority, like 60%, is used for the food industry. So it's a huge industry. It's a huge industry, and as the population grows, the demand for packaging grows. And we're more used to that. I mean, the way the economy works today is that food is shipped from North America to Europe, vice versa to China, etc., etc. So we definitely need strong and long shelf life protection for the goods, and that's why this industry is actually growing.